our guest today is Dr. Brenda Shoshanna. She's from New York City. She's been a psychotherapist for a very long time, also a Zen practitioner. She used to say, you see down at the bottom on the right, it says 45 years. That's not true. It's now 50 years since she's started sitting Zen. So hopefully she knows something about Zen. She also wrote this book called Zen Miracles, and can't remember exactly when, but she's written something between 10 and 14 books. So somewhere along in there, she's been very, very prolific for much of her life. One of the things that's interesting about Brenda is, for those of you who are Course in Miracles students, that she and Dr. Ken Wapnick were in the same doctoral program at Delhi University, of course, in several of the same classes, although Ken graduated 1 year ahead of Brenda, but they were certainly good friends. So maybe she can tell us a little bit more about that. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you a series of quotations from the Course in Miracles and a statement from Zen that seems to connect with that. And then Brenda is going to talk to you about that particular idea, and we'll sort of dialogue back and forth. And we'll just see how many of these we get through between now and 1 o'clock. The first slide is, I'm never upset for the reason I think. This is from lesson 5, very, very, very early on in the course. And then from Zen, the most dangerous thing in the world is to think you know something. Keep a don't know mind. So let me stop share now. And Brenda, what does that all mean that we just got through reading?
Oh, beautiful. I think we started with it's an early lesson, and it's the essence of Zen practice as well. So it's the beginning and the end all come together in one circle here. I'm never upset. We become upset. We'll have a reaction. We'll become furious. We'll blame this one. We have many, many beliefs about what is causing our upset. And the beautiful comment from the Course is it's never for the reason we think, which is the heart of Zen. And so the way Zen approaches this, how am I going to find out? Why am I upset? What should I do? What's wrong here? That's what the mind will do.
Right.
And Zen practice says, be quiet. Stop that mind. Better to keep a don't know mind. What does that mean? What does that really mean? A don't know mind, because it is dangerous to think we know something. We'll attack someone because we know something and they don't know something, and we'll hate life. We'll hate ourselves. We conjure up so much in this mind, and Zen really is very, very radical. The more I sit, of course, the less I do know, but I do know that it's radical. It's a radical response to life. It says, better to know nothing. Because that's the truth.
All right.
That's the truth. Everything else are just these ideas which we're creating and clinging to, and which impede us every step of the way. Huang Po, who was the great, great sixth patriarch of Zen, he says it very beautifully from the Diamond Sutra. He says, develop a mind that dwells upon nothing. How beautiful. How beautiful. And actually, Zen is the practice of, now that's not simple, of course, because we're all wired up with many, many patterns, responses. So from the Zen perspective, it is a practice. Right. And how do we don't even understand what do you mean dwells upon nothing? Many of the koans and the interventions in Zen come and they immediately stop the thinking mind. They're not logical. They're not rational. You say, what does that mean? And Zen says, don't know mind. You don't have to know what it means. Just be.
Yeah, I think that so much of the Course in Miracles is about, the goal of the Course is peace of mind. That's it, inner peace. All right. So the mind's always got something going on.
Nice.
So the only way we can actually get to that peace is to stop that.
Well, to enter the silence where we'll know everything very differently. Yeah. But it's not like, that's right. We do have to stop that mind that goes like that. But in Zen, we don't fight it. We don't do anything with it.
allow.
We don't play with the mind. It's like playing with noisy kids. This one's going to get louder. That one's going to get louder. No. We don't do that. We don't try to stop it. We don't actually try to do anything. Wow, how radical is that? We don't try to do anything. We just sit down. Now that, I feel like almost crying when I say just sit down. That's such a profound instruction. See, in Zen, we're not going to get a lot of wisdom. Of course, we will on our own if we sit. From our own inner knowingness, not from someone else, never from someone else. That's why it says, keep a don't know mind. You'll be easy to get deceived and trapped if you're trying to pick up your answer from someone else.
Right.
Just sit down.
Or even fighting with yourself in your mind.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Like that, of course, we constantly fight with ourselves, have these inner monologues against ourselves. One part says this, and we say that, and Zen's answer will say, which is right? Is this right? Is that right? Should I go here? Should I go there? Should I listen to this one? He said I shouldn't go out today. It's dangerous. Should I do that? And Zen says, don't do anything. Just sit down.
Right.
Now, that could sound, maybe I'm talking too much, but it's so interesting to me because I just want to say something that could sound a bit passive. Like it sound like, well, I'm ignoring everything. I'm not paying. I'm bypassing. But it's the most active thing you can do, because when we say just sit down, we're not just sitting there like a lump in a defeated way at all. When we're doing is we're gathering our own energy and focusing it's really very strong on our own breathing or on the moment, or we just enter our own being. So it's not do nothing. It's not nothing doing, but we do nothing. There's a big difference between I'll just do nothing. I'll just go take a walk in the park and take a smoke because there's nothing I can do anyway. It's not like that. It's very active, doing nothing. Sit and don't move for hours. When the bell rings, you can get up, walk a bit in between, feel your feet on the floor. Just be totally in the moment as it is for you.
Right. Which is what we want to do all the time.
Yeah, and it's a practice.
It's a practice, right.
Too much coming at us all the time.
Right. We'll spend about 5 to 10 minutes on each of these. So this is also in the Course in Miracles. I see nothing as it is now. And from Zen, things are not what they seem, nor are they otherwise. Life is one continuous mistake. My eyes are vertical. My nose is horizontal. By the way, folks, just as a point of interest, I picked this picture up yesterday. It's a star named Earendel from the James Webb Telescope. It is the most distant star that's ever been photographed, about 12.9 billion years back in space. So, but let's go back. I see nothing as it is now, and then things are not what they seem, nor are they otherwise. Brenda, back to you.
Okay. Wow. When we really, that's such a moment when we realize that we see nothing. That's a shocking moment.
Yeah.
Really, I see nothing as it is. Now, if you really saw that, in Zen, there's a difference between thinking something and knowing it and seeing it. Seeing is direct. We can know something. Like, I could know something for years, and one day, oh my God, all of a sudden I got it. I thought I knew it. I did on one level, but then, oh my God, I see nothing as it. And that's a shocking moment if we really see that. And by the way, that's what Zen practice is. It's simply so we can see directly. Right. Not think about it, not wonder, not imagine, not dream about it, but see. Because we do have what we call Buddha nature, which is the same thing. We have consciousness. We can see. And I'm sure that's in the Course too. I must see things differently. Where right. It's pointing to the part of us that can see for itself. That's what it does. Right. It knows the truth.
We call insight.
You know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Right.
Yes, yes, yes. But you have to know it, not in your head, because that's just more beliefs, more, I don't want to say garbage, but in a way it is garbage, more beliefs. And you don't know that, I know it, you're stupid, I hate you. That's what's going on in the world. That's not knowing the truth.
Right.
That's being hypnotized in beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why in Zen there's a lot, we don't dwell in our intellectual understanding of things. We practice getting to that part of us that knows directly and letting it take over the show.
Right. Yeah, all these Course in Miracles students that are with us today, they probably all had the experience of studying the Course for a long time and not getting it. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, for like no real clear reason, it's going to be, whoa.
I know.
I got it. I now I see what this is saying.
What a moment.
This is a practice.
It is a practice. And when you get it, then your life changes. If you really see that nothing, that you don't see anything as it is, then where am I? What am I? Who am I? It becomes so vivid to you. And then you do speak about humility, develop a mind that dwells on nothing, and that happens automatically.
Right.
All of these words are like little signposts on the road, turn right here, turn left there. But Zen practice does the walking on the road. I even remember, I just want to say, when my husband, who's gone now, he had this bad Alzheimer's, and at the very end, we were sitting on this patio, and I was reading him at the last few days some Zen poems that he used to love, and suddenly his eyes opened. He said, "I got it now! I finally got it!" And the two of us were laughing. He said, "I got it!" It was such a moment. All the Alzheimer, all the confusion, and he began speaking a little bit about that poem. So we're all in a way like, that condition of confusion. I see nothing as it is now. That's like a kind of a dementia that exists in the whole race. So that moment, that's to illuminate that moment. It's a profound moment.
It really is. There's also, I want to quote you a line from the Course. It says, being is a state in which the mind is in communication with all that there is.
Beautiful.
Being is the word now.
That's right. It's beautiful.
Just being, just pure being.
Well, that's what I'm exactly.
I know.
That's the same. Look how the Course is so connected. It's so interwoven. Yeah. Absolutely being, when we just sitting and breathing, not wanting to get something.
Mm-hmm.
And even in our relationships, we can practice this. Just be with the person. Don't want to get anything from them.
Mm-hmm.
Just be there.
Yeah. Wonderful.
And you'll see how much we're conditioned to do the opposite, right? We're so conditioned. Another
word I think we could use here is presence.
Yes, absolutely.
Just being present.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's all we can do. And, and it's so helpful for others too. Just really being fully there and not pretending you know something and they don't.
Right.
How many relationships are like that? I know this, you don't. You better listen to me. Oh my God. That's very dangerous. So we can see now the way the world is unraveling, how dangerous and how harmful it is, and how life-threatening to take that kind of role with anybody. How dare you think you know more than anyone else?
Right.
We all have this part that sees and that knows, and everybody wants to just push their understanding on somebody else, it seems.
I know. We just want to relax a little bit. One of my favorite lines in the Course is, let him be who he is, seek not to make of love an enemy, or let all things be exactly as they are. It was another line from the Course in Miracles. Yeah.
That's a beauty. That's the same as Ochen teachings. And then Zen is pure Zen, pure Tibetan Buddhism. Look how I love it to watch how all the teachings interweave and how we express them. well, whether or not you let someone be who they are, they're going to be who they are.
Right. But you got to let them do it in your
Up to
mind.
you. Is it up to you to let them? Who are you? It's like going to the ocean saying, okay, I'll let you be high tide today. Well, thanks a lot. We're really living in a delusional world.
Yeah, really.
That we run everything. I'll allow you to be who you are. But you know what? Still, it's on a level, it is helpful to say these things to ourselves, because when the mind starts to riot, and I call it a riot inside, it's good it stops it. I grant you the right to be who you are. It's a reminder. It's a reminder. We need reminders.
But it's also just trying to get us back to our own peace of mind ourselves, because we think we got to fix something out there in the world, and stop fixing things. And
well, so in Roshi used to say to us, we would have koans. Zen has many koans. Right. For those who don't know what it is, I'm sure everybody's heard of it, but I'll just quickly say a koan is a question given to you by the teacher that has no answer, no logical, rational answer. You cannot answer it, just like life. Life is a huge koan, no answer, but we keep trying to bring an answer to the teacher, intellectual answer, we copy, imitation, whatever it is, he rings the bell. No, you're wrong, go, get out of the room. So the point is that there's no need for an answer because there's no problem. But what it is that as we practice stopping, we have to stop that effort of the mind to take over.
Yeah, to just be present.
To practice that, though, it's not so easy. People say, "I'll just do it." But we're conditioned, and things come up. So I would say that Zen is the practice of being present and of seeing that you don't really know anything.
All right, let's do another slide. We're going to keep this kind of. We got plenty of slides. Okay.
Oh, this is beautiful. This one.
So I'm not a victim of the world I see. And then Dojin says, life is one continuous mistake. And then also, we have been destroying ourselves to adapt to an image, which has been a mirage. Who is the true man of no rank? Show him to me. So I love this image and mirage idea. Let's back to Linda.
Okay.
Brenda.
Yeah. Wow. Everybody identifies as a victim somehow of something. I'm a victim of time. I'm a victim of sickness, of age. This one doesn't love me. I'm such a victim. They don't even love themselves. You expect them to love you. That's silly. It's ridiculous. But we torture ourselves over nonsense. But I love the quote you pointed out, that we have been destroying ourselves to adapt to a mirage. Now, we don't even know who we are. And I know people say that very commonly, but we're all given these images and mirages of who we're supposed to be, how much money we're supposed to make, how many children, how much, whatever, married, single, whatever. There are so many mirages. And if we fulfill these socially conditioned images, I made it, I did it. Except that after that, there's a feeling of deep emptiness. We play these roles and we have the best intentions. We want to make our mom happy, our dad, the people in our lives happy. We'll play these roles, except that the roles take over our lives, the mirages, the images of how we're supposed to be, who we're supposed to be. And there's no peace of mind there. Or we could say fulfillment, the same thing as peace of mind. There's no fullness there. So rather than, and that's again the practice of Zen, you really don't have any space in true Zen practice to make yourself a stronger personality, or to be a better person, or to improve the self. It's not to improve yourself so you can become a better mirage. In fact, somebody said Zen practice is a total car crash.
It is.
It's to remove that false self.
Right.
and all the false selves that we identify with. So we can't feel like, oh my God, I'm completely defeated.
Right.
And yes, Ada Roshi used to say, you can't begin to practice because you're not desperate enough. You're
Right.
not defeated enough.
Yeah.
You're clinging still to these mirages.
Mhm.
So, this is how we are. I mean, this is quite a grueling experience to let go of these false identifications because we don't know who we are underneath. But when we sit, we know who we are. That's the strangest thing. We're not doing anything. We're in the silence. We're not relating to the external world.
Right.
We sit looking at the wall. We're fasting from all the stimuli, which we think that's who we are. That's good. Those are the mirages.
That's a part of the insanity of the world. I've often said, there's no reverends in heaven. What do you need a reverend for? There are no doctors in heaven. There's nobody there. There's no lawyers in heaven. Who's suing anybody? There are no captains or lieutenants. I mean, there's nobody, no war figures there. All this stuff
That's
that
the
we
mirage.
create, and we think that's who I am. And of course, America's is saying, and Zen too, no, none of that's all the costumes. That's all the decoration. You're not your decoration.
Exactly. And then how do we get to really know that and see it? We can hear it over and over, and it's true. Sometimes people will just, when they're very sick or something, they'll have that experience spontaneously, but then they come back and cling to something else. We have to see through the mirages. We have to see them for what they are. That's what we do on the cushion.
I knew one of my doctor's first name, and one day I called the doctor by her first name, and she says, "I am Doctor so and so." Okay, well, I learned my lesson.
Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's why we suffer so much. We're really trapped and caught in these mirages. We just are. And so in Zen, we don't pay attention to the external world. We are always putting our attention back to the breath, to the moment, or to a koan. We're taking it away. We've given away our power, our attention, our energy to all these external forms, taking it back and just sitting with who we really are. And then we're shown, who we are. It's not a word, it's not a label, like the quote, "Who is the true man of no rank? Show him to me." Now, don't describe him to me, show him to me. So that becomes revealed by itself. We're not dreaming it up, we're not contriving it. It pops up as you sit more and more in this silence. Who you are becomes clear, and it doesn't become clear just sitting there. When you'll take an action that's very different than what you might have taken. You'll hug a stranger, something will happen. Who you are, it's not set in stone.
Absolutely.
It's a flowing, beautiful process of. So that's what Zen is connecting to that flowing being who wants to hug strangers, who can easily hug a stranger.
I remind me of principle number 7 of the course is, miracles, everyone, right, purification is necessary first. So it's kind of like we have to clean out all that junk of who we think we are, who we present ourselves to be to the world, because God doesn't recognize us by titles or degrees or nothing like that, just as our children, his children, that's all.
That's it. That's all.
That's all.
That's all.
Let's do another slide. We'll keep...
Okay.
Hold on. So do not be deceived by others. Relinquishment of delusion is the wholehearted practice of Zen. And then 21, I am determined to see things differently. Of course, really places a little. Of course, 20 is I'm determined to see. 21, I'm determined to see things differently. All right.
So that.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. Well, wait till we're back to.
All right, we're back.
That is, I am determined to see. That's like making a vow. In Zen, we every day when we do the morning service, it's a focus, a vow, or to see things differently, to wake up, to keep practicing, to keep going. That's just to keep going is phenomenal. That is Zen. Just keep taking one step after the other without expecting any results. I'm determined to see things differently. And Zen practice is the wholehearted relinquishment of these mirages of delusion. Until at one point, you just see delusion as delusion. They say enlightenment is simple. It's just seeing delusion as delusion. That's it. It's not like you're going to wipe it away. As long as we live, our brain is going to produce thoughts, memories, images. But when you really see them for what they are, see them, they have no more effect upon you. It's like going to a play. You see these little things, or you see a show, but they're not real anymore. The man of true rank, he sees things. It's not like we're trying to, that's why they said, wipe out the world, because the world is, where is the world, as someone would say? It's inside us. There's no world out there. There's no world out there. We're projecting all of this. And we will continue to do so till we pass away. And that's not bad or wrong, but to wholehearted relinquishment of delusion, then we will see these mirages differently. We'll see a mirage as a mirage.
Right.
It won't have the power, oh, this is a great authority and they hate me. Oh my God, I may as well curl up. And a lot of people are committing suicide these days. How horrifying. The depth of the suffering. This is not a simple matter. The effect of mirages upon us. This is not a simple matter. It creates death, murder, terrible, terrible things. So when we make a vow to see things differently, which is the same as the wholehearted, nothing left out, relinquishment of delusion. Wow. To me, that is extremely beautiful. And I know a lot of people stop because they're not getting, in quote, I've been getting a lot of emails like that recently, the results that they want. That they get that, what am I getting? Nothing. I'm still doing that. But you see this whole, not to give, to get, just sit. Just sit. And as you sit, you're not looking for enlightenment in quotes, because you don't even know what that is.
Right.
It's just a word. It's just a word. Just to keep going is enlightenment. Just to keep going. And then there's a deep trust that suddenly will bubble up, that you can see things differently. And it'll happen by itself, little by little. You don't do it. It does it. God does it. You don't do it.
So that's what the Course is doing too. We're freeing ourselves of the false.
Yes, exactly.
So the true just automatically comes in the end of you. I'm love, for example. It's not something that we have to intellectualize about.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's experience.
Exactly. To experience that and it's so delicious. To experience that love, it's so delicious. No, when you really, who wants to go back to the other way? Yogi. You don't even want to. When it's really the saddest thing is not to be in a space of love. When you really taste love, oh my God, it's so delicious. But I want to go back there. And then that increases. But you just have to keep, with the Course to keep going and sharing it also. I think that's very important, is to share it with, I have a little, because I wasn't able to let people in my house. I'm going to start now more, but we've done my little Zen group online, but now I have a little Zen group of the doorman, the handyman, and the guys who bring my packages. Oh my God, I love these guys. And they came in, they were the only ones who could come in for this or that. And they saw all the cushions on my floor and they wanted to know about it. What a Zen group that is. I love it. I love it. We have and that's what it is. Anyone who's there, who comes, welcome, come on, if they come in anyway. So I've taught them how to sit, and I get this such joy in sitting with the handy. Oh my God. And he's loving it. These guys, they get it. But, so I think it's very important, especially in this day and age, to add that little component of just sharing whatever we're doing.
The little Sunday with Monday thing that I sent out this morning was a line from the Course in Miracles that says, love waits on welcome.
How beautiful.
I mean, it's just, and we already are the love. The love is already there. The love is already present. So we just got it all covered over with some junky stuff and some idea about you hurt me or some silliness that's not even there.
Yeah, isn't it interesting how those, I was thinking the other day, where is this coming from? No matter how, I'm sitting 50 years, okay, but it still comes up, Of course, it leaves like that, but it still hurts, and it still has a moment of feeling true. And then I continue the practice, and it goes. I see, not in my mind that it's a mirage, but I see it. But it's really fascinating that I think we have to really accept that with all the years of practice, it still comes up. That's okay. My friend told me I'm not doing this anymore. I'm a Zen failure. I said, Zen failure? What do you mean? He's been doing longer than I have. He said, nah, it's still coming up. What's going on? So somehow we also have a quote in Zen that nirvana is samsara, meaning the horrible pain and these negative things. That's also nirvana. That's also beautiful. It's also part of the world to accept or welcome all of it. Just see it for what it is.
Yeah.
See it for what it is.
Well, let's do another slide. We're going to do. Okay. This is lesson 23. I can escape the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. And then from Zen, to separate what we like from what we dislike is the disease of the mind. It's kind of like what we're just talking about.
Exactly.
Who is that wanting creature inside me? You are a house of bones. Pride lives in you. Hypocrisy, decay, death. Oh boy.
That's really, it's, I think what the reason that's up there is it's important to acknowledge that, to see through it. Because if we try to push it away or put an icing on a burnt cake, so to speak, then it'll come up. It's there. That panic is there. That we're going to face the loss of our body eventually, sooner or later. Whatever it is, let's not separate what we like. You see, that's a very pivotal point in Zen, to separate what we like from, we only want the nice, good stuff. We don't want to hear about decay, death, anger. But the Course says we have to just give up our attack thoughts. Now, that's true, but we cannot give them up unless we're conscious of them. They come through. They're in us, and in order to see them, in order to release them, they have to come to consciousness. So we have to be somehow able or willing to not separate what we like from what we dislike. Mm-hmm. In fact, Sosan in Zen says that is the disease of the mind, just that. To grab for what we like and cling to it, and hate what we don't like and push it away, or to reject it. That we're always protecting ourselves from the attack, what we don't like, and always grabbing onto what we do like. And so all our energy is used up that way. There's no space to welcome love. We're just embroiled in that conflict. And the way that Zen deals with it is to learn to accept everything. Mm-hmm. By accept it, I mean to be willing to experience it. That's what I mean. Not saying this is good or bad, because we don't do good and bad in Zen. Again, that I like this, we judge this. It's a practice of welcoming everything. And we see when we do that and experiencing everything wholeheartedly. That's what it means. So when you do that, sometimes you see, good turns to bad, love turns to hate. What I thought 1 minute was bitter is sweet the next. Everything is in a process of change. And you just experience it and experience it. That's what this, and that is love, to be willing to experience everything and not reject it. Wow. That's a beautiful moment when you welcome even the painful things, and then they disappear. And you see, it's not even there. It's not even true. But you have to somehow, you could bless it or welcome it first, or not push it away.
It's just what you're going through. So, I mean, let's say I'm doing a difficult job, and I'm doing a difficult job. So this is work. So this is hard for me at the moment. But that's okay. I don't have to, let me enjoy hoeing the garden or whatever.
Right. Just feel it. Just feel the difficulty. Hey, I'd rather not do this. Just allow yourself, don't have to act on it or talk about it, but just feel it. be with it, and then it leaves. Whatever you really feel wholeheartedly will dissolve, and you'll be thrilled. Oh, I love this job.
There you go.
Like a relationship. Oh, I love him. Oh, I hate him. Oh, how did I get into this? Oh, I need someone else. Otherwise, if we follow these very temporary, meaningless likes and dislikes, they're meaningless. Then we get caught up in them and we make them very rough, very strong. Just experience. It's only an experience. It's not even there.
So one of the ways we could talk about this is rather than living with a divided mind,
Yes.
we're living with a unified mind.
Exactly.
Right. So it's just, I'm present in this moment, whatever the moment is, whatever, this is a kid is screaming at me. Okay, I've got a screaming kid to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a screaming kid. And did Jesus say somebody said, what is it that needs our love? It's the screaming kid. And what does it mean to love him? It means just to welcome him.
Right.
Be with him. Let him scream, truly. And if you hate it, just feel the hatred of it and that will go away. But don't suppress it because it'll come out in other ways then.
Yeah.
It'll be a sneer and he'll know. But when you really feel it, then it's authentic and the child knows and he'll stop screaming right away.
Right.
If you can get into a real state of love, which just means welcoming him completely,
right,
and not judging him and allowing him to scream. I mean, really deeply allowing, even though it doesn't feel good inside you, just feel what doesn't feel good and let it go. Then he'll change by himself.
Yeah. I have a 2-year-old grandson who is teaching me this a lot.
Yeah, all the little ones, they're the best teachers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
But he's really wonderful. He's just, there's a kind of presence about him too that's remarkable, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And his screaming is fine. What's wrong with his screaming?
No, it's you're right. It's fine. Well, I just
you may not enjoy it, but that's separating what we like from what we dislike. We may not enjoy it. Nobody enjoys being screamed at. Who would? So that's okay. Just feel how you're not enjoying it and let that go. And it leaves.
If I could say something about him, last fall, there was, and he was more like 1.5 at that point. He was really just kind of learning how to walk really good. And I noticed he was out in the backyard and he was running with both hands up like this, running, just looking.
Wow.
And I thought, whoa, what's going on in that mind? It's like, it's just this presence of being in nature, just there. Hard to describe. I mean, who knows what was going on, but it was a beautiful sight.
Gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
It's a real Zen moment.
Yeah, it looked like it.
One with everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And discovering everything. And right now he's discovering the pool. Water. I want to enter the water. I want to be in the water.
Gorgeous. That's a true man of no rank, your grandson.
Very good. Very good. All right, we'll do another slide. Okay. Well, this is a good one. Like, in defenselessness, my safety lies. And the more a fly struggles to get out of honey, the faster he is stuck. Do not resist. All right. Oops, I need to stop share somehow.
That's the biggest one in Zen and in life. If we defenselessness, I'm not resisting anything. I'm not resisting any attack. Wow, that takes let's be truthful. That takes practice.
Oh, yeah.
Until we can really know that our safety, we're safe when we're defenseless. We're safe. What does that mean? When we don't resist something, completely let go of resisting it, we are safe. It can't hurt us. The only thing that's creating us being hurt is our resisting, our fighting it. It's our own reaction that's causing us unsafety, not what's happening out there. It's just happening. Mm-hmm. But then we get in there, we'll resist it, we'll fight it, we'll defend. That's another word for don't defend. We'll defend ourselves against it. And that is what's hurting us. It's not the event itself. It's that reaction of, so that's again a practice. It's an extremely deep practice. And but the good part is once you get the taste of it yourself, oh, I didn't resist this awful thing, and it didn't
How
bother
nice.
me. Yeah, then you feel so good, then you do it again. But you get your own evidence, your own proof. Hey, that feels great. It's true. I was safer when I wasn't fighting and defending, because if nothing else, if you are up against something that could harm you and you're not fighting, you're not angry, then you can see more clearly what's happening and you can make an appropriate response quickly, easily, nobody hurt, beneficially. So it's always better to have a clear mind. We're not saying just be a sitting duck for something terrible, not at all. But if you don't resist it, not only you're not engaging and it might just leave, or if it doesn't want to leave, by not resisting it, you're with it and you're aware of it. And in a way, you're sending it that welcome, but also you're clear what to do. You might just get up where you wouldn't have before. You might say a word that could really turn things around. I don't know what it would be, but from within you would know. Even being in the situation, what's the very best? I was in a little tricky situation about a few weeks ago with a friend of mine, and she wanted to run away, right? She was scared. And on the face of it, it could have looked like something reason to be scared. But I said, why don't I just practice what I'm preaching here? Why don't I try this? Just don't resist it. Don't resist any of it. And he looked up at me and laughed and winked and walked away.
Talking about a guy who approached you on the street, right? I think you told the story.
Right. As you know what? So those moments, so beautiful, those moments. It happened again, another with somebody else. Those moments are really our teachers, I think. That's what Zen would say. We have to directly experience it and see how good it feels. Then we'll do it again. Then we'll do it again. So then we build up this feeling of trusting. You could say trusting God, trusting our inner knowingness, trusting that nothing can hurt us. As they say, when we're in a state of love. And non-resistance we're not trying to hurt them back. It's a state of love.
Just letting all things be what they are again.
That's loving. That's very loving.
Right.
Isn't that a beautiful way to love something and someone, to just allow them to be exactly, what a relief. How I longed for that growing up. We all long for that. Oh, can I just be who I am? No, this is right. This is wrong. Do this, do that. Something. We all kind of think there's something fundamentally wrong about or bad about who we are. I think we're raised with that. We're conditioned with that. So it takes trust. It takes courage. I would say great courage to do the Course in Miracles practice, and certainly to do also the Zen practice.
Right.
But the minute you get a taste of how delicious it is, you can't leave. For 50 years, I couldn't live without it. I wouldn't want to.
Wow.
It's delicious.
Yeah. I love the word delicious. I mean, it's just perfect description of what's really going on, isn't it? Along with do not defend is do not attack. And do not attack and do not defend. They go hand in hand, because a defense is a kind of attack. All right.
Yes.
So
Yes. That's right. Yes.
Right. So the Course is very clear, anger is never justified. Never? No, it never. That doesn't mean you never get angry. Just recognize that if something went wrong somewhere in your thinking process, and you need another way to see this.
I love that. And just feel the anger. Don't repress it. Feel it and just get acquainted with it. Just see it for what it is. Once you see that anger for what it is, it's nothing. It can't have any power over you. It's just a feeling.
But also don't spew it out onto
never. Right. Never.
Don't throw it out there.
Never.
Then you're going to amplify it and make it a much worse situation than you had already.
Oh, absolutely. So, this is radically the opposite of normal psychology. That's what I said in that new book I'm doing, The Unshakable Road to Love. This is the opposite. This is the opposite of psychology, as many people know it, not everybody. You've got to stand up for your rights. You've got to speak up. You've got to speak out. You have to claim everything. That can be just intensifying ego and selfishness.
Absolutely.
And pain and demand, which doesn't mean, my daughter would always say, well, you're going to be a doormat, walked all over. That's what people think, but it's not true. It's not true. And the only way to know that is to practice it and see the strength that comes and the happiness that comes. And you have to just see it for yourself.
Right. We'll do one or two more, and then we're going to break.
Maybe one day we'll do a little sitting, and we'll do the course, and we'll do a little sitting together with it. I'll show everyone how to sit. I'd like to do that so they can combine it with their work in the course. That'd
be fun. Yeah. We won't do it in the next 30 minutes, so.
No, we need time. I just have a desire to show everyone how to sit so they can enjoy this.
Of course. Or let's do one or two more slides, and then we'll go into our Q&A.
Okay.
All right. I need to go into my, oh boy. Well, anyhow, so.
Do we have one more after this?
Yep, we got more than this, but let's do, okay, here we go.
Oh, I love this one.
So the voice for God, or the voice for the ego, the whole world is medicine. What is the illness? The word frees us from all the weight and pain of life. That word is love. Amen. Okay, let's go back to two of us. There we go.
Yeah, one word frees us. That word is love.
That's the only word there is.
Well, it's a word, and it's a beautiful, beautiful word. And so the work is to make it vivid and real in your life, to live it. To live it, to practice it, the practice of love, the presence of love. What is it? In my work, what I'm doing now a lot is to differentiate, and this is from Zen too, between real love and counterfeit love. Because what so many people think love is not love.
No.
And then they get in pain from it, and they blame love. Don't blame love. You're in counterfeit love. It's not love. Don't blame the person. Don't blame relationships. You're just stuck in counterfeit love. For some people, it's clinging. For some people, it's wanting to get something back from all of these expectations. So in your defenselessness, your safety lies. And what else was that quote, that last quote? What? Oh, the voice of God, or the voice of the ego.
Right.
Of course, I love this one the most, because that's what I do in my sitting. I listen for the voice of God. And I love that. I devote it to be still and know that I am God. I love that. I connect it with these beautiful teachings, and then I stop and I listen. And of course, our own voice is all the memories. I want it, and it comes up. You can let it come up, but you don't have to listen to it. It's like an echo chamber from the past. I'm listening for the voice of God. And it comes in all kinds of mysterious ways. Sometimes it comes as an actual word, something I hear. Sometimes it comes, I'm walking on the street, and I see the incredible beauty of a tree. God, I never saw how beautiful that tree was, and I'm blown away. That's the voice of God. Right. The voice of God, the way you're hearing the voice of God from my point of view, is that it's always beautiful and uplifting and full of hope and full of new possibilities and guiding you forward. Right. And the voice of the ego tearing you down.
Right.
That ego can hit inside you, and God forbid, which it does for many people, they are the voice of the ego. They don't want to be, but their conditioning comes through them. Don't you dare do that. Don't try that. You're in danger here. So that's why we need to see things differently, and we need to see for ourselves too, not through the eyes of another. We say in Zen, don't put a head on your own head. What's wrong with your head? Don't listen to you call it the authority problem, which I love that.
Right.
Everybody's a big authority, but God's the only authority.
Right.
And don't give power or authority to anyone but the voice of God. That, I find that so important and so beautiful. And that's actually the heart of Zen.
That's the heart of the course too. The whole course can come down to, what voice am I listening to?
I love that.
Am I listening to the Holy Spirit providing me with loving guidance all the time? Or am I listening to this insane ego thing? The key to the course is in the power of decision is your last remaining freedom. As a prisoner in this world. That's a very interesting element.
That's interesting.
So the power of decision, it's all about decision. It's all about choosing which way am I going to go, God? Am I going to go ego? Who is this decision maker? That's the really interesting question.
That's a koan.
It
That's a
is.
fabulous koan.
And then who is a decision maker?
I love
Very
that.
simple. Very
I
simple.
love that. I love that. You know, I love that. And another way to just to talk about it a little bit is who is listening
Yes.
and who is speaking.
Yes. That's
That's a koan.
it's the same idea.
And don't answer it. And
No.
don't answer it with words.
No,
Please
listen.
don't, because then we take away the vastness of your question.
Right.
Who is the decision maker? Who makes the tides come high tide and low tide? Who guides us? That's a profound koan. See, and a koan, you don't work on a koan works on you.
Right.
So just that's where that's the heart of everything. It's so, and when we get in touch with that, we're home. We can relax. The world isn't on my shoulders.
Right.
No. Where the world, you know, it's just a place to really give thanks and share and enjoy and have fun. No matter what's happening, we can have a beautiful day.
The Course in Miracles says that the world is a learning device.
Love that. I love that.
It's a learning device.
I agree with it. It's a session. But sometimes the bell doesn't ring. And in a Zen session, you're sitting 40 minutes and the bell rings. You get up from the sitting, you take a walk. The clappers hit, you go back down, sit another 40 minutes. Bell rings again. You can get walk. Those are moments you can walk, you can integrate, but sometimes the bell doesn't ring. We don't get a reprieve in this learning device, right?
Right.
I love that and we have lessons to learn.
Right.
And
We're about the end of our hour, so we're going to go in and switch to dialoguing with everybody that's here with us.
I really enjoyed it, John. I love talking with you.
Oh, me too. You know, one thing that thought before when we were talking about where are you from, all of us, and a couple of people, several folks said they were from Brooklyn. And, you know, I served a church in Brooklyn for 10 years, 68 through 78. And I hadn't thought about this, but I always perceive and that up above the altar in the church on the wall, it was written, painted on there, and it said, "Be still and know."
Oh, beautiful.
Isn't that great? I mean, it's just, I was always so happy that that was there, but it becomes even more clear why that's the right answer. Be still and know.
That's the whole answer.
Yeah,
That's the whole thing right there.
yeah.
Know for yourself.
So we're going to switch over now. Bud is going to share with us a bit about what's been going on in the chat. And then after that, we'll be able to have some of you come on and directly ask questions of Brenda. Bud?
Everybody's basically saying all these support things of, yes, I've experienced this, or I lost this, or I left this, or I let go of that. And yeah, it's a lot of applause more than anything else.
All right, so let's go and we'll have Tucker come on and share, and then Lynn. Go ahead, Tucker.
So, God, what a fabulously, I hate to use the word enlightened person that you are, Brenda, but I was hit with wonderment at you being both a doctor of psychoanalysis, do you say?
I don't do it anymore. Yeah, I did. I was trained. I did a lot of postdoctoral training and all the different, partially in psychoanalysis and in other things too.
And so one of my final questions that I have is that with so many things going on with outside world difficulties, that I tremendously benefited from plant-based medicines. I worked with Stan Groff with alcoholics and psychedelics, and I just am wondering whether you have actually thought as an adjunct to people's getting into the whole idea of Zen, to be able to have a blast like ayahuasca or LSD or psilocybin or any of those things to come in and assist people in this terribly difficult time of not getting I just have to finalize it by saying I've never met such a person like you, who is so wonderfully at home with all these disciplines, and you just, I love the smile on your face and the sense of satisfaction, and the fact that you still sit, for however long each day, and so anyhow, thank you so much for fabulous, yet again, John's bringing us wonderful people, and you really, it's too bad you're not a psychoanalyst anymore.
I started when I gave that up is when I noticed I was praying for my patients. I was just suddenly, I was listening to all the pain. I couldn't do this. I was sitting with them, praying for them, and I said, "Well, you're not a psychoanalyst." but I let me answer some of you've made so many actually beautiful points, and thank you for your kind words, Tucker. It's a pleasure to know you. Let's stay in touch. I really want to answer your points because they're very, very important points.
Oh, well, thank you.
When you say clear the mind, that's part of sitting. That happens during sitting, but it doesn't mean to live a blanked out life in some sense, And there is absolutely no conflict between the Course and Zen. In fact, the Course, like when you do Zen practice, you listen to Teisho talks by the different teachers. The teachers, and they'll say different, like some of the quotes that you saw, and they'll talk about those points so that you can digest it. So the Course has amazing, beautiful points as well. And when you sit, just take one of them in and digest it. Digest it, because make it your own, make it real. Not intellectually. It's not a mind thing. Just think it like before I sit, I say, be still. And I do the morning service every morning. I'm all alone here. People think I'm a lunatic. I do Hippo I do all my different things, and then there's nobody here. I sit down and I practice. But my guidance to myself is be still and know that I am God. I love that so much. And those are just words until they become vivid and they become my flesh and bones. That's what Zen is, to make it your flesh and bones. And so it's so much my flesh and bones that I can live it. And so Zen and the Course, no contradiction. They have many thoughts in the Course, but they don't want you to just think them. The Course wants you to be it, to live it. And that presence in Zen is the same as the Course. We have the same exact goal, it seems to me. The presence, to be present, to open the doors of love in the heart. And and I want to answer also your point about the ayahuasca and all of that. A dear friend of mine, actually, who was a Zen master and the abbot, one of the co-abbot at the Zen Mountain Monastery, was Ryushin, wonderful guy, was doing ayahuasca. He was forced to leave his role. I believe that he has some kind of Zen group. He lives in Soho now in Manhattan. I haven't seen him for a while with the COVID. I myself wouldn't particularly want to go there. I remember Soen Roshi said that we had a lot of people coming in the early days from LSD trips coming in too, and that was a reason for that. They pushed them into the Zendo. But I remember Soen Roshi said that what you experience through a drug is not Zen. It's a state of mind. And Zen practice is not a state of being or a state of mind, it's practice. And the value of it is doing it yourself, and of the practice of it and seeing it, not wanting to get high or to feel a certain way. So Zen practice is never about wanting to feel a certain way, because that's just getting something else, the next piece of candy. But it's about being able to be peaceful when you feel badly too. Whatever feeling comes, that feeling is welcomed, it's experienced. It's not about getting anything. It's about allowing life and the world to be just as it is, as we say. And to do that, and so it goes in a bit of a different direction. That's just and that's what Soen also felt. He was incredible. He's not alive anymore. He was a hermit monk for many, many, many years on the mountain and had a great experience of some kind. They came to him and said, would you be the abbot of Ryutakaji? And he said, well, only if I can bring my mother with me, because his mother was old and he didn't want to leave her alone. He wanted to take care of her. So they said, bring your mother. And they built a little house for Soen Roshi's older mother, and it's still there. And he took care of his mother. To him, Zen was taking care of the world, of each other. He had a great enlightenment, and it meant not leaving his older mother alone. So it's a different orientation than I want to feel good, I want to feel peace, I want to be high. Actually, once you get into a Zendo, if you're blessed enough to have a Zendo near you and can sit with just a Sangha, that's one of the treasures, just a few others, you will feel just by virtue of the practice so much better. So that's what we want people to know, that it's the practice that is making them feel stronger and better, not a drug. So I think that could be a danger in my estimation. But if you send me your email or whatever, I'll be happy to give you Ryushin's information so you could get another point of view too about that. Because he has another point of view about it, and he's a wonderful person.
So this is a Zen monk that took ayahuasca.
No, he
so
was an abbot, the vice abbot of the monastery.
Oh wow!
He was not just a monk; he was a Zen master, and he did get involved with ayahuasca. He loved it. He felt it was very helpful. But he was, he and I were very close for many years. And you know, so many people are gone now with the COVID. But I hope and pray he's still there. I'll be happy to put you in touch for another point of view. You know, I don't cling to my point of view about it.
And it's not points of view. It's just that I haven't done LSD or anything for 30 years, and I'm in a nursing home, as John will say, so I can't take any drugs. But the idea of Stan Grof and there are a lot of alternatives like breathing and holotropic breathing and all these different things that assist people to get to a point of, it's not getting high and it's not a drug, as your friend might have told you, but it's like blasting out the idea of oneness with the creation.
I don't really know enough about it to comment from that
Let me just
perspective.
say one thing about it, and then let's go to our next. What it does, my experience is, it stops the mind.
Mhm.
Stops. It stops you to the point where you are just present because there's no place else to be. Just present. So it has that interesting effect. All right. Let's go to Lynn. Lynn, and then Lisa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tucker. It's nice to meet you.
Okay.
Brenda, John, Shoshanna, how wonderful to hear it. It's this is a flow. Like Rumi said, the cure is in the poison.
Oh,
And
that's beautiful.
and what flows together is real. And the Course and Zen. I have a question. I have a yoga practice. I feel like I get into Zen that way.
Mhm. I'm sure you do. It's fine.
Yeah, so it's more focused on the actuality, like is the focus on being present rather than the practice.
Yeah, you know what? Different practices speak to different people. And there are, I think, many keys to the mansion. To do a beautiful full yoga practice is in. To be an incredible gardener in the garden. I used to have a garden. I miss it in these days. Love taking care of my garden, planting. That is a Zen practice too. You give yourself wholeheartedly to what's right in front of you. And when thoughts come, they come. But the practice of Zazen supports you in doing those other things, like cleaning the kitchen can be a great Zen practice. And the Zazen just gives you the concentration and the support. But yoga is beautiful. It's not. There's nothing wrong with any other practice at all. Whatever you're drawn to is what matters. That's it.
Let's go to Lisa. Lisa, you want to share?
Good morning. This is
Thank you
beautiful.
so much.
it clarified a lot of things for me that maybe I don't quite understand about the Course. But now my question is hard to ask because we talk about sitting without intention. And I have something that has, I believe, been blocking me from taking action that's buried way deep in blocked memories from my childhood. And I've been kind of going along, getting things done, taking the action I need, scared all the time. Not sure if I need to know the answer or not, knowing that I need to do the actions and that maybe I'll get the answer at the end of it. But I'm thinking about this sitting practice. Generally, when I meditate, I do have intention. And obviously I need to let that go.
Well, you know what?
Is it,
His intention, she said.
Yeah, I know. Lisa, are you there? Hi. Can you hear me?
yes.
You kind of lost her. Maybe you just, and from the Zen perspective, they would say, you don't need the answer. Forget
Okay.
about wanting an answer. Just do it.
Yeah.
I can't see you. I guess you're out of the picture, but you can hear. Just do it. And then the fear is there, the anguish, whatever there is, the feeling of being blocked. That's just a feeling. Feel the feeling, and just take. That's what Zen practice is. Just take the action, no matter what you're feeling. Because that's the ego voice trying to stop you. You don't need to know. You don't need an answer before you can do something. Isn't that freeing? Isn't that wonderful? What a free, yay, hooray. We don't need
I'm kind of approaching it that way, but I'm still, it's the anguish that comes up when I take the action is.
That's okay. Just
that's what I need to work with.
Just feel the anguish. Just keep letting don't let that stop you because it's just a feeling. Just feel it. Say, oh, hi, anguish. Here you are again. Good to see you. I'm and then focus on, that's his Zen practice. Feel the anguish, take that action.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
That will help
Did
you.
you say you can't see me?
No, I can see you now. No, I can see.
Oh, okay. So I've been having trouble with my camera. Anyway, I appreciate the answer. That makes things a lot clearer for me. That's a great idea. And thank you for being here this morning.
I loved
I'm
it.
looking forward to reading some of your books.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's one you might like a lot called Zen Play. Zen Play. It's about the koan of everyday life, and it's about forgetting about having answers. There's no questions. We dream up questions and we dream up answers. Just
Go
do
to
it.
Linda.
And you can find that book on Brenda's website, by the way.
Oh,
Thank you.
Hi, bud. Thank you so much for that.
Linda, you're muted.
Okay,
There you go.
hi. It's
Hi.
very nice to be here so many years after the very first workshop you two had together in that beautiful, wasn't a Jewish temple, but it was a meeting place. It was a sacred place to me.
That was the place that was that townhouse in the
Where you and John had the first workshop,
I
or
remember. You remember?
you
John?
remember so many years ago?
It was in the 30s. That townhouse that Terry
That's right.
that Terry Katz had.
That's right.
Oh, the Macor place.
It was beautiful there. And so this is really lovely to have again, because for me, in addition to studying the Course in Miracles, I've also been participating in Buddhism, not Zen particularly, but I love Zen, but in Buddhism and sitting and looking at things with different eyes, which ultimately become the same eyes. And there's a book that was written a while ago called Everybody is Right.
I love it.
And it's a great book. And he talks about every religion, everybody is right. So I thought of that a lot today when you were talking. And I wanted to ask you, I know in Buddhism, the word delusion is used.
Right.
And in A Course in Miracles, the word illusion is used. Now, the person I was studying with in the group I was with, he would say, when Buddhism is delusion, I said, isn't that the same thing as illusion? And he, at that point, I don't know, things change, but at that point, a few years ago, he thought that there was a difference. And, I would think about it, and like one seems to me to be a verb, and one seems to be either an intransitive verb or a noun. But sometimes I get this sense, this taste of the difference between delusion and illusion. Like delusion is something created by the ego, but illusion is agreed upon wholeness of perception by everyone that exists. I don't know if that's correct. It's just something I thought about. Maybe there is no answer, and maybe there is, maybe there is.
These are just words, and you can
words, yeah.
These are words, and we can get you can spend forever, trying to understand that fine differences. Of course, it could lead you to some kind of an awareness, so that's good too. To me, when you're deluded, it's more personal. Delusion, I'm living in a deluded state, and illusion is out there. From the regular point of view, there's something out there. From the Zen point of view, there's nothing out there. And that's what an illusion is. It's a mirage, it's nothing. And if I'm deluded, I don't see what is, I see my illusions or delusions. That's all. Illusion just represents the fact that it's a mirage. There's nothing.
Right.
And you could say we all agree upon certain things, and it becomes a temporary reality. It can feel like a reality when many people agree. There's no question. That's why you need people to sit together and to dissolve it. That's why you need a group. It can feel like there is an illusion going on, and the whole world believes this, or certainly this day and age, people will kill in order to keep their structure of reality going.
Right. I felt it was just a matter of words, but
I wouldn't get too.
If you read further, I don't know what John has to say about this. I'd be curious. It's not something that I cling on to, but in just today, hearing the two words being used, it was just interesting. Perhaps there's no difference at all.
Well, I'll let John talk now.
Just going along with what you both are answering, I think, the question, but to delude yourself, right? I am deluded. I have bought into an illusion, right? And then the greater aspect is that there's an illusion. Like I threw out there for a second, religion, because there's so much of religion that's an illusion. We buy into the truth of this particular format and think it's the truth. And then later we have to become deluded to realize, oh no, that's not true. That there are parts of this thing that are just absolutely crazy. Rules, regulations, creeds, dogmas. We buy all of that stuff, and then wait, what do I need all these creeds, laws, dogmas? Maybe I think that just got made up by man. It's not from God. So that's another way to see the whole thing. Let's go to Karen in Chicago, and then Stephen.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
That's beautiful, John. I think that's a very helpful and beautiful. Good to see you, Linda.
Hi, Brenda. Thank you. Today's session is really wonderful, and I just want to thank you, first of all. I do have a question. I know we're short on time, but I'm wondering how, I've worked on this, practice of releasing deep-seated subconscious beliefs that might be running the show. But do you have, what do you have to say, or what's your recommendation as far as how can we release those deep-seated subconscious beliefs that, sometimes, okay, we know, I probably picked this up when I was a small child, but there might be some other things running the show that we're not even sure about. And do we need to actually figure that out, what that core belief is, in order to release it? Or can we?
It's a fabulous question, because I don't do it now, but I was teaching the releasing method, the Sedona. Have you ever come across the Sedona releasing method at all?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Well, there are all different ways of opening the heart. The Sedona releasing method, you might want to look it up online.
Mhm.
It is dedicated to exactly what you're speaking of.
Okay.
Of letting go of getting in touch with these beliefs, feeling them and letting them go.
Right.
It can become a Zen practice. It can be a very valuable adjunct to if it connects with you. You know what?
Yeah.
I mean, because in my opinion, I used to teach the Sedona method for a while. I give workshops in it, and I found it was very congruent with the Course, incredibly so, and with Zen, and it can be very helpful. And also you can release those when you have a deep experience on the cushion, all beliefs, when you really see that all beliefs are illusions, are deluded. So it can lessen and remove many of those beliefs that we are holding on to. This also called karma.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real way of burning out the karma, or purification, purifying the karma. That's one of the functions of Zen practice. But also the releasing is excellent. I don't make any rules for anybody, because at different stages, different things are definitely very helpful.
Right.
So I would look it up on Sedona.com, and another very good website for it is releasetechnique.com. They have very good teachers there. And they have like free calls. You can listen in and you can learn about it. Every aid is a good aid. That's what Lester used to say. He was the head of the course, the Sedona method, the releasing method. And depending what you're dealing with, depending where you're at in your growth, I tried many things. I did a lot of releasing. It helped, but I always return to my cushion. For me, that's the deep. For me, just for me. But not others. People who I love and who are very far along the way, that it's not for them at all. So I really honor that.
Mm-hmm.
And tell you the truth, Zen wasn't something I really ever thought I would do. I wanted to be. I always thought I was going to become a very observant Jew. That was my goal. I went to yeshiva, and I wanted to be a very observant, and I couldn't. It just couldn't happen. It couldn't happen. I kept ending up back again on the cushion over and over and over again. Kept running to the Zendo, no matter how hard I tried. I did both of them for a while, and it was one of the most painful times I could imagine. So I don't know if we're in charge of what our practice is. I think we're given it.
Yeah.
This was given to me, and I don't think we can escape it. So might be that releasing is perfect for you. I don't know, but explore it. I explore it and see.
Yeah. Okay.
The way to know is to try and see for yourself.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I thought I had done a lot of healing work in that regard, because I've been at this for many years. But all of a sudden I had some physical, symptoms manifest, and it was a surprise to me. And I know that it's coming from a deep-seated core belief that obviously I haven't gotten rid of yet. So,
okay, well, if you've done that kind of healing work, and if it has worked for you, go forward. And you could sit too. They're sitting. The beautiful thing about it is not in conflict with anything or anyone, because it's not about ideas. I'll just tell you what Ada said the first time I heard him talk. He said, when you come to the Zendo, we do not ask you to believe anything. Just come and find out for yourself. That's the whole thing. So it's not in conflict with anything. It's not, don't do this. Your inner self, the Holy Spirit within, the Buddha nature, whatever you call it, it will go. Zazen will guide you.
okay.
Or your own inner knowingness guides you to what's right. I mean, it brought you to this class this morning.
Mhm.
So, it's funny, isn't it? How we are where we belong.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure to
Appreciate it.
talk to you.
Bless you.
So, Brenda, let me just reflect on, I was thinking about, I had some trouble at the same time trying to be a fit in the box of a United Methodist minister. At the same time, I had all these interfaith and new agey kind of ideas going on. And it didn't really work. I mean, I tried, but after a while, it became clear that I needed to step out of the box and just be, a mystic of sorts, that's a much better position. Let's go to Stephen, and then we're probably going to wrap up after Stephen.
Okay, thank you. Short, practical question. Thank you very much to begin with. Very clear and very actionable. The question really is, I've led a physically pain-free life, fortunately, but now I hurt my shoulder. Okay, so what does that have to do with anything? When I try to meditate or when I try to follow my, quote, path, that pain is very much there. And I try to deal with it in a spiritual, quote unquote, way. And maybe you could give me some advice. It seems to intrude in my meditation and things that we're discussing now. Maybe you can give me some advice as how to deal with that pain, the physical pain, not necessarily any emotional pain.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen. Well, it's a wonderful question. Your pain is, from the Zen perspective, your pain is your teacher. It's your koan. It's nothing to be, it's there for you to, it's teaching you something. And it's actually it's a good thing. So I know what you don't like. Remember, don't separate what we like from what we dislike. That is the disease of the mind. I would say not to hurt yourself, but if you do sit or meditate, don't hate the pain. I can't see him. Is he there? Are you there?
He's here, yeah.
I'm here. I'm listening.
Don't hate the pain. Don't consider it an impediment. Take it with you. Thank it for being there with you. Allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to feel the pain. You could even do what the Tibetans do, and I do it sometimes if I have too much pain. I send it love. I don't have to feel love, but the guidance is from the Lojong teachings to intend, I send love and light to that sensation. It will feel it. The pain may also offer you some insight. It may come because it wants to tell you something. Pain is a very profound, it's not, there's no such thing as just physical pain because we're just one being. So why don't you take it as your friend and as your teacher? Don't hurt it, don't sit longer, but it's not interfering with anything because it's the most important thing right now. It's like it's interfering if you want to feel good. Then it definitely interferes, but you don't need to feel good. There's something more important happening in the process than feeling good. So allow the pain to be there. Make friends with it. And thank it for coming and see what happens then. See how it will change when you stop fighting it and resisting it. Remember how we talked about don't resist it. The more you resist it or fight it or hate it, it'll fight back. It has to fight back.
Thank you. Great. What you're saying is diametrically opposed to what I've been doing. But thank you.
Let me know how it works out. I'm happy.
I will. Thank you so much.
How good. How nice. How sweet. That's wonderful.
Well, thank you, Stephen and Brenda. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. We usually close with a reading of the Lord's Prayer from A Course in Miracles, and I can put that on the screen.
Oh boy, I didn't think I was going to be emotional, but here we go. I'll give my best. The Lord's Prayer. Yeah, John knows me. The Lord's Prayer from A Course in Miracles. Forgive us our illusions, Father, and help us to accept our true relationship with you, in which there are no illusions, and where none can ever enter. Our holiness is yours. What can there be in us that needs forgiveness when yours is perfect? The sleep of forgetfulness is only the unwillingness to remember your forgiveness and your love. Let us not wander into temptation, for the temptation of the Son of God is not your will. And let us receive only what you have given, and accept but this into the minds which you created and which you love. Amen.
Amen. And I thank you, Dean. I appreciate your emotion as well. I really feel your presence there. And did you notice how in that prayer, what is it? Forgive us our illusions, Father. I mean, what? That's Zen in the Course right there, isn't it? You know, just letting go of these illusions about who we think we are, the self we've made and put out there in the world, as opposed to who we really are. And who you really are, the Course is very clear about this. You are child of God, you're the son of God, you're the daughter of God, you're blessed. And that's your only real true identity that ever was or ever can be. So this is why Zen in the Course is so very, very similar, because when we come into this world, as we said, the Course in Miracles says that this world is a school. It's a mental hospital. It's a reformatory. And, you know, our whole job here is to wake up. Very simple. I mean, it's just very simple, just to remember the truth of who we really are. And there's nothing you have to do in the world except be here. So again, thank you all for being here. Our next Sunday with Mundy is a whole month away yet. On the September 25th, I think it is, Sebastian Blakesley, who's written this wonderful work that he's done on Choose, once again, is going to be with me. He's from Argentina. And if any of you think you might be interested in a new seminary, we're starting up classes in another month from now. Let me know, and we'll pursue that. Kathleen, Bud, Paul, myself, others that are on screen today are part of something called All Faith Seminary International in New York City. And we're beginning to gear up for our fall program, which is going to be starting later in September. If you find that interesting, contact me. It's just john@miraclesmagazine.org, and you can get, this leads to your ordination as an interfaith minister after 1 year of training with us. And I can explain more about that at another point. So again, thank you for being here, and have a wonderful Sunday afternoon, whatever you do.